parents is think about it, get the right team around you from an early stage that can guide you through everything you're going to come across, because if you do make it, it's valuable. You will pay for the best advice.
You know, my son just got his first professional contract, or should I say the first pay slip, off the back of having a professional contract. And you know, I sat down with him to basically explain every line item, but that's because I understood it. If you're an advisor, it's more so like educating the parents with a view that they then pass that information on to their son, or you know, or the sports person in their family. So I think the point that I'm trying to make is it's really about the parent educating their children or their son, and that knowledge has to come from perhaps the advisor.
That come from a variety of things, you know. There's sometimes family pressures. You know, all of a sudden you're a family that's come from nothing. Your son's now earning £500,000, £1 million a year.
Yeah.
They want rent paid, they want houses paid for, they want this paid for, and you know, and they have, the way their family runs is that, you know, they give that money out, and the son comes to the end of the month and he's struggling for cash because he's on £60 a week. How is that? That shouldn't be right. So that comes from a parent, and kind of just again one of those cases of not having the right people around them. Like, they won't have a financial advisor around them. They won't. We try as their tax accountants to get involved.
In many scenarios, how do you encourage your son to save when you want some of the money? Right? You know, how do you say to your son, no, don't go to Selfridges and buy that Christian Dior jumper for 800 quid. When you want him to take you upstairs to Louis Vuitton and buy you a handbag, right? And this is you guys laugh, but this is the reality of it, right? This is the reality of it, that sometimes the son is none the wiser. So I'm not surprised that they end up bankrupt, because it's not just the son's lifestyle. In many cases, it's the lifestyle of the family, which he is obligated or feels obligated to fund, right? And if that contract isn't big enough, you're going to go bankrupt.
I know that Anthony and a lot of you guys here are really interested about how you invest in these players early, and I know that there's this kind of feeling that, can we go to the players, invest in them, and try and give them a financial literacy program of sorts, even if it's breaking it down to the very basics, so that these young teenagers, these parents who probably don't have a huge amount of financial understanding, have the basics to kind of get them through what is a massive changing in their life and their situation, their circumstance. Do you think that thing would be well received, or do you think it's actually quite difficult to get a literacy program into football clubs, to persuade agents to work with you on things like that, and the football leagues too?
There are charities out there that do that kind of thing and offer these opportunities and to retrain and develop skills where you can have a career after football, if you're not in a position where you can retire for the next 50 years.
Like, how can we as professionals start to get into that world and say, hey, when you decide to hang up the cleats, we are here for you, or your boots, as you would say?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them obviously probably carry on in football. They do their coaching badges when they get to the latter end of their career, ready to go into either be a coach or it's tricky. Like anyone who retires across all sports, it's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky for everyone. There's definitely more to be done on it, because I think from attending some of these charity days, where from the guys that do this kind of stuff, I can't remember the statistics off the top of my head, but they're quite bad in terms of, as you say, the amount that go bankrupt, the amount that consider suicide, the amount that have depression. A lot more needs to be done on that. I think that comes down to my original point, is about having the right team around you to begin with, because if you have that, you have a financial advisor that's on it and knows what he's doing. You have all these things in place such that whereby when you retire, you've got a retirement pot. You don't need to worry about what you're doing right now.